Hey guys, this August, Brendan Burns and I will be doing the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. If you're in the UK, head on up to Scotland and come see us do comedy and commentary to Bad Wrestling in the world's largest comedy and arts festival. Also, August 1st and 2nd, we'll be in Birmingham and Manchester doing the very same show. It's going to be a great summer, the summer of Scotland. All right, let's start the show.
This is The Art of Wrestling with professional wrestler Colt Cabana.
All right, how you guys doing? Come on in, sit down, relax. You're about to listen to The Art of Wrestling, a professional wrestling podcast. It's a life podcast. It's personal journals and entry way into the minds, souls, the hearts, and lives of people involved in the world of professional wrestling. I'm your host. My name is Colt Cabana. I'm not a seafood eater. I am a video game player. Now, I'm also a host, not just of this podcast, but with Xbox, apparently. Most importantly, though, I am a professional wrestler, and I am sitting here live in the studio apartment in Chicago, Illinois. Before I go any further, this is a fan-supported and listener-supported podcast supported by people just like you. Give it to you free of charge every single Thursday on ColtCabana.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcast from. A couple great ways that you can support, rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Tell a friend, tweet it out, Facebook it out, Snapchat it out, Vine it out, YouTube it out. Start a vlog on YouTube. Get the word out there. Best way that you can support, though, ColtMerch.com, DigitalColt.com. DVDs, t-shirts, pictures, posters, the works. Great way to support, ColtMerch.com, DigitalColt.com. Yes, Jimmy Havoc is on the show. He's also on the sidelines. Sad. One tear down my cheek. I feel bad for Jimmy Havoc. He'll tell you the story why he's on the sidelines, but let's keep him in the ethos. Let's keep him out there. Let's keep talking about him. I hope if that ever happens to me, knock on podcast foam here, that it doesn't happen to me. But if it ever did, people would still be talking. I guess I could still use my mouth. I could still podcast, but that's like my ultimate fear. And that's why, if you ever seen my schedule, like I just keep a crazy schedule. I could do a little relaxing. I could do a little vacation, but for some fucking reason, someone offers me a date, I'm taking it and I'm doing it. And I think that's been pretty evident over the past 7 or 8 years now. It just hasn't stopped. I took this Xbox gig in the middle of the week over at E3. It's like I did Friday, I did Saturday, I did Sunday, got home Monday, flew out to LA, Xboxed it up on Tuesday, back here on Wednesday. I got one day off, and then I'm headed up to First Avenue in Des Moines in Minnesota for First Wrestling. And for some fucking reason, well, I know the reason. I have a safer style than most, but you never know how you get injured. It's happened in the weirdest ways. And sadly, it's happened to Jimmy. I remember once we were over in the UK doing Ring of Honor shows, and there's a giant Ring of Honor show in Liverpool, and I took another booking the night before, and I wrestled my match, and it was fine, and then we did a battle royal at the very end, and they said, Cole, you don't even have to go in the battle royal. I was like, no, I'll go in the battle royal. What the fuck can happen to me in the battle royal? And then I got thrown out, and as I got thrown out, somebody was holding the rope down, so I couldn't grab onto the rope, and then that throws your whole equilibrium off, and basically I just took a bump from the ring right onto the floor. I couldn't find anywhere to brace myself, and I was so fucked. And I did the match the next night in Liverpool. God knows how. But man, I probably should have been out for 2 months. I wrestled the next week, of course. Jimmy will be back. He's part of this thriving UK scene that we'll talk about. Somebody asked me the other day, they're like, where's wrestling the coolest? It was just a casual dude. I was like, you should see the UK. Like, they're doing it right. People my age and a little bit younger, we're sick of the weird hokey pokiness of televised wrestling. And a lot of people want wrestling that specifically cater to them and their age bracket. And there's just a lot of groups that are doing it over now in the UK, Progress and ICW and Rev Pro. Just to name a few, there's a dozen of them that are just killing it over there. And Jimmy's a big part of it. It's really cool. And it's also because he's been around for so long and he's learned how to do it and he's learned the job. And it's a right time for a lot of guys. You think while you're doing it for so many years, like this is never going to hit, nothing's going to happen. And sometimes it's just that equation of age plus experience plus something cool happening. And he's in the right place. Speaking of being in the right place, this was the ultimate gig. This was like what it all happened, this Xbox. I went to E3. I filmed these videos. The Xbox guys, they reached out and they were like, we're sick of just the same old people interviewing people. We think this would be a fun touch. You're a fun person. It's basically like this is the culmination of all of it. This is what I've been working at this specific thing for people to reach out to be like, will you do this? For fun, random gigs. And that's what this was. Fun, random gigs for Xbox. It's not just a present for me, folks. I'm going to be giving away a free Xbox next week. A free Xbox. And not only is it free, it's a custom Xbox, and it's got sweet wrestling things on it. Look next week for my Twitter and Instagram. I'll be putting it out there. We're just giving a free one away, and you don't have to do anything cool. I think you have to retweet a tweet, and you'll be in the running. I got to play video games, Gears of War 4, Battlefield 1, Forza. It's a racing game. You could be a Lamborghini. I chose the Ford. I just didn't feel like I was a Lamborghini kind of guy. If you want to talk about it, use the hashtag EZE3, and we're going to be giving away an Xbox next week. Giving away an Xbox next week. Follow me on Twitter at Colt Cabana. Follow me on Instagram at Colt Cabana. What else did I do? My week was full of fun stuff. I wrestled for WrestlePro. I wrestled Damien Sandow. He became Damien Cabana Dow. Or would it be Colt Sandow? Or Damien Sanbana? Or Boom Boom Damien Coltonstein? One of those. He hit the podcast gamut, so we both agreed to kind of give it a little bit, and then we'll have him on the podcast when things get to cool down a little bit, which is cool with me. Giving people podcast space. I'm a kind man. What can I say? I also wrestled for MCW, where Sandow was my tag team partner, and I seem to be doing these Make-A-Wish things. A couple weeks ago, I was on the Chris Gethard show, where we had this big 8-man tag. Chris Gethard, a comedian, Vacation Jason, a comedian, and we intermingled them in the match. This week, the owner of Jimmy's Seafood, Johnny Crab Cakes, had his very first and probably last match. And another thing, man, this is something he always wanted to do. He worked it out. If you don't know, I think I was told Jim Ross talks a lot about it. Jimmy's Seafood in Baltimore, Maryland. Every time I go there, they just hook it up. It's just like whatever you want. And I was telling the guys, it's a lot of anxiety when you go and someone's just like, here's the greatest. I don't eat seafood, but they'll just give you all these meats. Do you want prime rib? Do you want the New York filet? Do you want this filet mignon? Do you want the strip steak? It's all free, Colt. Don't worry about it. And I'm just like, oh my God, can I have it all? And then I'm like, you can't eat it all. And like, I want to. Can I just get everything to go? And then you can't be a dickhead who ruins it for everybody. That's kind of like in wrestling when somebody's ruining. You've heard those stories. They ruin it for everyone. You just got to take one thing, be happy with it, say thank you. So each time I get something different, it's so good. The owner, Johnny Crab Cakes, he wrestled in the match. And that's one of those scenarios. All his friends were there. Torrey Smith from football, he was there. We wound up on TMZ. Isn't that great? I'm sorry, Torrey Smith, but they were like, hey, a football player is going to do something. And I go out there and I see this guy, and I was like, he don't look like a football player. And I guess he's a wide receiver, but that's probably the same as independent wrestling. He probably looked at me and he was like, he doesn't look like a wrestler. But we did something, and it was a thing. I'm helping people fulfill their lifelong dreams of being a pro wrestler. That's where I'm at my stage in my career. I've been doing it a long time. No longer is it me fulfilling my own fantasies and wishes. It's me helping others. I'm doing the good work. A volunteer, charity, something. I'm doing the good work, and I'm helping others, and I'm happy to do it. We do have a song of the week this week, and it's brought to you by Helix Sleep. Couples are lying in bed, and when they need a new mattress, only one of them gets their way. I wouldn't know anything about this, but I'm sure a lot of you do. Helix is changing that with customized mattress purchasing for both parties and doing it online for hundreds of dollars instead of thousands of dollars. It's real simple. Go to helixsleep.com, answer some simple questions based on 4 key preferences, and then you'll have your own custom sleep profile, and you could build the most comfortable mattress ever. It arrives in about a week, and it's free shipping. You got to imagine a mattress costs a lot to ship. They'll pay for it. They've also done the math. Reports are saying Helix customers are getting 30% improvement in sleep quality. You get 100 nights to try it out. If you don't love it, they'll pick it up for free, and you'll get 100% refund, no questions asked. Forbes are talking about Helix Sleep. GQ is talking about Helix Sleep. Art of Wrestling is talking about Helix Sleep. Everyone is, and so should you. Listen, I've been in instances where you're just like, fuck, I'm moving. I need a new new mattress. Now you got a place. We have hooked it up for you. HelixSleep.com/Colt. Go there and you'll get $50 off your order. That's HelixSleep.com/Colt. HelixSleep.com/Colt. Song of the week, Drew Kazoo and the Sprained Ankles are back on the show, and I'm happy to have them. Drew, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Go support them at thesprainedankles.bandcamp.com. Say hi to them at Sprained Ankles on Twitter. We got a short, sweet, and fun one called The Fireball Trick. Enjoy it. We'll be back with Jimmy Havoc.
Well, he went hard into the corner. Power bombed out of a hurricane runner. Ref went to check on the opponent. That's when he seized the moment. I would have thought that he was going for an object, but he wasn't reaching for his tights. He turned around and shocked the crowd as they watched the flame ignite. Oh shit! He did the fireball trick. All kind of shit they could be packing. Grass nuts in their jackets. They got megaphones and tennis rackets. Spike bats and weed whackers. Lumberjacks, thumbtacks, broken glass and barbed wire around the ring. They got a man from Atlanta, Japan that put spikes inside his brain, but all that ain't shit next to the fireball trick.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey, we're also brought to you by 54 Club Apparel at 54club.com, sending you stylish, amazing clothes and accessories out of Los Angeles once a month. They got experts and cool dudes and cool chicks picking out this clothes and sending it to you. If you have a clothing budget, then 54 makes perfect sense for you. It's $60 a month, free shipping, and they just send you really nice, fashionable clothes. You don't have to go out and find stuff and try it on and sit in a dressing room for an hour and a half. It's just sent to you. 54 is an actual brand. You can only get it by being a member. You can't get it in stores. Go to their website and use an easy sign-up process. Just personalize your style preference. Maybe you want clothes for a date or a wrestling show or church or temple, or you're meeting your significant other's parents. They got everything from classic, casual, forward, and mix. Every month, you'll get brand new stuff and you can build up your wardrobe, diversify your look, different clothes for different seasons. Just check out the site, 54club.com. Use the code COLT. Get 50% off your first month. That's like $150 of clothes for only $30. FIVEFOUR club.com. Use that code COLT. Start looking good. Do you not zip up your boots?
No.
You just want to feel comfortable? I like the idea that I'm like, zip up your boots for this podcast.
Okay. Will that make you happier? There we go.
Are you comfortable now?
I'm comfortable now. Thank you. Yes.
Right on. How are you? Welcome. You're not good.
No, I'm not good. I'm
Let's
not good
start
at all.
with this right away.
I managed to dislocate my knee quite badly when I was in Australia, and I've torn 2 ligaments and meniscus. So I just had surgery 6 weeks ago.
Well, time permitted. No one knows when this is coming out.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it might have been.
Might have been. Yeah.
2 months and 6 months and 6 weeks ago. Oh man, that's probably the worst, right?
Yeah.
You go and you do a tour of Australia.
Yep.
Which is. I mean, each time I went was still a dream come true. I don't know where it is.
For me, I've always wanted to go on holiday. So to get flown over there for 3 weeks, to be paid while I'm out there, like I made loads of friends over there. I'll probably be back again. If I ever go on holiday, I've got free accommodation, which is awesome. But it was just getting to see the country was definitely a dream come true.
How deep into this tour do you get fucked
The
up?
first weekend. The first weekend. It was the third show. Just fucked it. So
did you try to muscle through any of the other shows?
I tried to do a show the weekend after, and
because you're that guy, right?
Yeah. I brought a knee brace during the week, and I thought I'll be all right. I can do something. So I can do a hardcore match on it. That'll be fine. That's easy. No running. But it just popped out again.
Because there's 2 different industries in wrestling. There's like you're fucked. There's also, and as a wrestler, there's all right. This will take approximately 5 days. The week, and come next weekend, I'm good to go.
Absolutely, yeah. When I've done it and I've dislocated and put it back in, I couldn't really
Hold
walk.
on, you did?
Oh yeah, dislocated and I
By
put
yourself?
it back in. Yeah. That was it's the worst sensation I've ever felt. Like, have you ever dislocated anything?
No.
Just popping it back in again is almost worse than it coming out.
Did you do it during the match, or did you?
Yeah, I couldn't finish the match. We had to stop the match straight away.
When did you pop it back in?
When I was lying on the floor.
Fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you popped it back in,
yeah,
again.
just the worst pain I've ever felt. But then I could just about hobble on it that night. So I thought, if I can walk on it already today, I should be fine by next weekend.
Imagine
That's
tomorrow
no problem. Yeah.
if I could almost hobble now.
So I got some crutches and got a knee brace, and the first couple of days were bad, but then after that it was plain sailing pretty much, other than intense pain while walking. But
Did you try to wrestle the next weekend?
we done a spot. I thought I see how just doing like a spot in the show goes, and I literally walked a bit too fast and it popped out again.
Oh
so
God!
Thought, it's not.
Did you get surgery over there? Or?
No, I got an MRI while I was over there. The company I was working for sorted all that out, so it was good of them, and I got surgery when I got home.
Is there any? So this is something that I'll deal with. Was there any like guilt of like missing the shows?
Oh, absolutely.
Even though you fuck up your knee.
Yep,
And like the ratio of like them, the company being nice. What was the ratio of like your guilt to the company being
I
nice?
felt so guilty about it. And like every time I tried to apologise, they were like, it happens, it's not your fault. And I thought, well, the way they sold it to me in the first place was like, there's always loads of like ex-WWE guys going over there. And they wanted to be something different. They wanted to get a new indie guy coming over and see if that helped. So I was like their experiment. I was hoping I could sort of maybe pave the way for loads of other British guys to go over.
So that's even
and
more
the first
guilty.
weekend I fucked myself over.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I fucked it for everyone now.
We're not.
But they've said they want me back when I'm better, and we'll sort of redo the tour.
Who sorted
kind of
it out?
thing.
Who's doing good
It's a
stuff
company
over
called
there?
Melbourne Championship Wrestling, Melbourne City Wrestling. It's a guy called Mikey J. There was a kid come over called Josh Shooter. He came over to England a couple of times to train Progress Wrestling with me. And when he went back, he sorted the tour out for me pretty much through them. So it's
You're the trainer at Progress.
yeah, I'm one of the trainers there. Yeah,
Nice.
or I have been.
Which
not
is
the moment.
I was on the first show, and then it just exploded that
Yeah,
place.
it's gone ridiculous now. Yeah, we're doing Brixton Academy in September, which is like
Again, I don't know when this will come. Oh wait, September. This should come up by then. Okay.
well, we either will do or have done Brixton by then. But like the thing I love about Progress
Wait,
is
what's Brixton Academy? I don't know.
Brixton Academy is like quite an iconic music venue in London.
Okay.
Where just me growing up, any band I was going to see, they play at Brixton, or they play at the Electric Ballroom, or they play at the Garage. Now, those three venues are the venues that Progress run. So for me, being able to wrestle at these places that all my favourite bands have played growing up, it's ridiculous. It's just it's so awesome for me to be able to be on those stages.
Well, that's what I mean. We're becoming what we wanted to be, but weren't.
I always wanted to be a rock star,
Right.
but can't sing or play an instrument. So now being able to do that as a wrestler, it's dream come true.
Do you feel like you're cheating everyone?
Oh, massively, yeah. I'm getting to live that rock star lifestyle without having to have that talent in that.
With this fucking thing that we're doing that we've done for so.
Yeah.
But that's what they all did. All the
Yeah.
rock stars too.
I started off doing it something as a bit of fun because I loved it, and it's turned into my job. So I guess it's the same for them. They probably feel the same about getting on stage every night playing guitar.
Right, and I think they all want to be wrestlers too.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if have you connected with because like my love is like comedy, and I find myself connected with a lot of comedians. Are you that way with music?
There's quite a few. There's a new punk band that's come out in the last couple of years in England called Creeper, and I started loving them just as a fan of music. Started following them on Twitter and stuff. Tweeted them a couple of times. A couple of them now follow me because they're massive wrestling fans. They're like, I'm seeing them next weekend. Actually, they're doing a show. They're doing a festival actually over in the south of London, the South England.
Are you wrestling on the festival?
No, just literally just going just to watch them.
Have you wrestled on these festivals over here?
I did Download Festival last year.
Somebody booked me for the Download maybe a couple of years ago. I think that's that when one PW went up.
Oh, yeah, because I was meant to do that one as well with one PW, but then that all fell through. But Progress run Download Festival last year and Sonosphere Festival the year before.
I don't know.
And I think they're two quite big like rock festivals over here.
Do you know Mount Fuji? Fuji Rocks?
Yeah.
I was supposed to do that one.
Yeah?
And I chose to do the Gathering of the Juggalos instead.
I've always wanted to go Gathering of
I
Juggalos
could see you being
even if I don't wrestle, just going because it looks like just a fun few days.
Have you heard good things about Fuji Rocks Festival?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
In your head, what would be like crazier? Did I do the right? Did I pick the right one?
I think in terms of craziness, you picked the right one to do. Yeah, Gathering of Juggalos. I think Fuji Rocks. I go for the music mainly. I think as a music sort of fan, that'd be.
And that's in Japan.
Yeah,
The Lucha Vavoom did Fuji Rocks.
Yeah, okay, cool.
But
I think it's just a mental weekend. I think Gathering of the Juggalos is definitely the one to choose.
Yeah, I'm not that big. I've always said that I'm not that big of a music guy.
Yeah, you picked the right one.
But I am good. I am a guy who loves like just fucking the nuttiest shit. But I'd imagine there's some wild, just little Japanese girls running around. I don't know.
Download Festival last year, because obviously like being artists, we got all like guest passes and stuff to go everywhere. And I was walking backstage, and there was Baby Metal just walking the other way.
I don't know what that is.
Baby Metal are they've been around a few years now.
I like the idea of it's little babies playing heavy metal music.
They're 3 little Japanese schoolgirls.
Oh, okay.
Right? They've got a backing band which is like proper heavy metal, but there's these 3 little girl singers. It's just the heaviest metal you've ever heard, with these little Japanese schoolgirls just singing along with like the
I might have heard of that.
Yeah, it's really good.
That's got to be a thing. I'll look that up on YouTube.
They're real good.
That's nice. And so progress is going well for you.
Progress is well, other than my knee, but progress is going so well.
But man, it really took off.
Yeah.
And I guess you could speak about it. It's kind of like the state of this scene. So, and like personally for you too, I feel like, and you could tell me, like as progress took off, as the British wrestling scene has taken off, now like you've taken off a little bit. I mean, you don't want to. I don't want to pet your own head. I don't know, pat you on the back. Do you see like a correlation of like this scene finally kind of?
Definitely. In the last couple of years, I don't know. It does feel like we as a scene have sort of found our stride.
Because you've been around forever.
Yeah, 12 years now. Yeah. Me and Zach, we trained together at Hammerlock, along with like Fergal.
Zach Sabre Jr.
Yeah, Zach Sabre Jr. Sorry, and Finn Balor. We all trained together back in the day. So to see those two especially doing so well for themselves, and like the British scene now coming up, and me starting to make a name for myself, it's incredible. And I think it is just that we're all finding our voices, I think, here in this country a lot more. Instead of trying to maybe copy what other people have done, we're sticking with what we do. And we've found our own gimmicks, we've found our own characters. I think the internet's helping a lot as well, especially with Progress. Like Progress, I think they blew up massively because of Chapter 13. Now, Chapter 13 was one of the shows we did at this place called the Electric Ballroom. It's the second one we did there, and unfortunately the hard cam failed. And they were just going to, do away with the footage and go, we can't do anything. Then I said, look, just edit the 2 cameras we've got and put it on YouTube for free. It was a good show. You're not going to lose anything.
I thought you were going to say, ask everyone to send the video that they filmed.
And we'll put it all together.
And edit like an amazing fan cam video. That'd be pretty nuts, right?
I think if John had a spare 2 months, he might
that would take a lot. Just imagine like 200 people send you their footage and you splice it all up together.
I might try it. When I come back, I might get people to do that. And
That's
send
pretty
them all
nuts,
the footage
right?
together. That'd be quite cool. Yeah.
Or it could look awful.
We'd have 1,000 angles of the finish and one view of the rest of the match.
Montage. So they put the show up on for free.
Yeah, so they put it on for free, and it's because the sort of semi-main was Fergal Devitt against Zack Sabre Jr. So that just got so much traffic towards it, and then they saw the rest of the show. I was like, okay, hold on, this entire show is, we've come to see this match. But the whole show, the crowd in the show is just mental. From the very start to the very finish, they're just off the chain.
It's a hard, because I deal with like I put out my movies.
Yeah.
And you see like on some of these sites, like 100,000 people have stolen it or whatever. But it's a hard balance of like, I realize like that if there's a bunch of eyes, that's how buzz gets. So you think about these guys who want to protect their stuff. I know, everyone, of course. I was going to say like PWG or Evolve, but like everyone does, very protective. But I don't know if it's interesting or fun how I guess I would know about putting out stuff for free. I've been doing it for years, and that's my theory. But then that's hard. Like if you put out for free, then people just expect free stuff.
My thinking of that was, look, if the hard cam's messed up anyway and you feel you can't sell it, then don't just put it up for free anyway.
Yeah.
And it's the best advertisement I think
could have ever had. Of course, but then it's hard to be. Then not that it's hard, but it's like, hey, now you got to pay.
Well, the way Progress always worked anyway, they always done limited edition DVDs. So only ever have like 200 of each DVD. So that's sold out, and they make enough money off that. But we've got the on-demand service now as well, and it's not expensive. And that seems to be the way a lot of companies go now, is with this on-demand service, which is constant income of cash,
right?
And it allows people a lot more expressive freedom as well. I think we can do little TV shows kind of thing on the demand services.
I wonder if like how many, because let's say it's $5 a month or £5 a month or £10 a month, and then everyone starts doing it, and then because like people have enough money, I think I'll whatever.
I've
Amazon.
got like my Netflix and my Spotify and my Amazon as well. So I've got those 3, but then if it gets more than that, I'm like, well, I've got my network subscription as well, and then
where do we cut it off? I wonder if. I think the next move is like someone just collecting all of them and
Together,
putting on the independent network. But then but
then that defeats the objective of a company being on there unless the reach is so big that they make as much as they do. Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult.
I'll give a call to Pro Wrestling Tees,
good
and
call.
he'll sort it all out. So 12 years been wrestling.
Yep.
And I was gonna say that because I was here. I started coming over in 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
And I noticed that. I don't know, like that it was just the Americans. Like the idea that you are getting flown to Australia, the idea that Zach is getting flown to America and Marty, and that just wasn't happening.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and I felt bad knowing, like, I think a lot of people from America were just like, hey, we're a little cash grab maybe, but like maybe because I spent a good amount of time here, like I felt like I was, like more than just a guy that would just, so like I felt for the guys and I wanted them and I felt bad that that wasn't that scene. So in 10 years, I've really seen the switch, and I think it's a testament that the Brits, and I don't know, is Marty and Zach the best example of guys who are consistently getting
Osprey as well now.
Yeah, and Will,
Mark Andrews.
Right. Yeah,
I think they're like the sort of probably top 4,
and that's just owning your own shit, huh? Mm-hmm. Just owning your own shit.
I think, like you were saying, like back in the day, the British scene, because while we had good wrestlers, the products we were putting out wasn't great. Our production values were crap. It was in little town halls or leisure centres where the wrestling might have been good, but if you put that as a DVD, no one's going to want to buy it when you've got Ring of Honor's DVDs coming out, or do you know what I mean? Like, because at the time that was what was big, was Ring of Honor and that sort of stuff. Where over here, Ring of Honor was a big deal to us because the production looks incredible. Like everything they were doing looked wicked. When we've lost ECW, but now we've got this sort of thing coming on. Okay, this is the new cool thing. So to us over here, especially the fans, like you guys were the big stars because you guys had sort of TV or you had like all these DVDs coming out. But in the last few years, I think the fans' perception has changed quite a lot, especially the fans over here, where they're seeing that our product is just as good as the stuff you're putting over there, and we are just as good wrestlers. And
then when you bring over the imports, most of the time you guys are fucking schooling the imports. Mm-hmm. Do you guys find that do you talk do you talk amongst yourself that like that's kind of a thing, a big deal, or no?
No, not at all.
No,
but we've been, when we first, like Zach and stuff started getting flown over, it was kind of like, it's about time that they've noticed us. But for a long time, like, it was you guys that were helping us draw houses. Because if you're an indie fan, you don't watch British wrestling, you don't know who we are. But you see Colt Cabana, who you've seen on your DVD you've bought, on a show, you're going to go to it. So, at the time, you guys are helping us so much by coming over.
Taking the rub.
Basically, we were taking your money. But now people know who we are as well, as stars, in inverted commas, in our own right.
Right. That's the best.
Yeah.
That's how it's done. Great. I'm glad I could
You
help.
helped. Cheers, Colt. Thank you.
Okay, so where are you from?
I am from a little place called Dartford, which is just outside of London.
Okay.
Originally, actually, I was born in a place called Ely, which is where Marty was born. So we grew up in the same place together, didn't know each other. Because I moved down to London when I was about 10 years old.
Okay. And obsessed with wrestling as a kid?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Loved it. The first match I ever watched was Ultimate Warrior against Hulk Hogan, WrestleMania 6. And I wanted to be Ultimate Warrior.
How'd you see WrestleMania 6 first? VHS or something?
Yeah, it was VHS.
Okay.
Yeah.
What, someone bring it over to your house?
It was I used to stay at my grand's house quite a lot because my parents divorced. So I stayed at my grand's house when my mum was working or whatever, and I wasn't at my dad's. And I went to school with a kid who lived next door, and his older brother was really into wrestling. I had a VHS tape, and we got me round and said, you'll like this, enjoy it.
And did you ever get into like the British stuff, or was it just American stuff? See that?
Just American stuff when I was younger. I didn't know there was any British stuff. When I first started getting into it, my gran was like, there used to be this thing on TV that we used to watch all the time, and she used to be really into it.
And did you ever end up going to like these smaller British shows around town?
No, never saw anything. No, the first sort of UK indie show I went to was one of the first 1PW shows, I think.
Oh, right.
Which was, I think I might have just started training at that point in around 2004. I think the start of 2004. And it was
Team Shag on there.
Yeah. You and Greg. Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. So, I guess, how do you find a school and not know that there's a scene?
I started backyard wrestling.
And trust that they're right.
It was literally
You're a
just-
backyarder.
Yeah.
But even if I feel if you're a backyarder, maybe you're just obsessed with ECW or something, right?
Me and, I went to college with this guy who was really into wrestling, and he said to me, him and his mates have got this fed down at the local youth centre where they just wrestle on gym mats. And I just went down and gave it a go, and I could throw myself around enough. Mm-hmm. And they said, like, one of them said, I'm sure there's a school around here, you should go and give it a go. So I searched online and found a school which was Hammerlock, and just thought, got nothing to lose, let's give it a go.
So how many guys were in this fed?
Probably about 30 of us.
And you were the only one to be like, oh, maybe I should.
Yeah.
How come nobody else? They just doing it for fun?
Just doing it for a bit of fun, I guess. Well, so was I guess. But then I think the Fed shut, or they stopped running, or we had a big falling out. I had a falling out with the guy who ran it.
Backyard politics? I love it. Go on.
We were having a match, and I think he done like a frog splash off the top rope, which was just like a school table.
You're right.
And as he'd done it, the school table slid out of the way from him. He broke his arm.
Oy.
Well, he broke his arm in inverted commas. I thought he was just faking it because he didn't land that hard. It was so I go to pin him because obviously the show must go on. We have to finish the match
In front of nobody?
Yeah, he kicks out. So I get annoyed that he's kicked out. He then tries to pick me up a pole drive and give me a pole driver with one arm. So I then just get really angry, think, he's fine. So I start stamping on him, do a double stomp off the top rope onto his arm. And
The table.
Yeah, the table. And he stays down and he goes to hospital. I thought, fucking idiot. Broke his arm in 3 places. And I carried on just beating the shit out of him. But I thought, well, fuck it. If you're going to try and give me a pole driver with one arm, you're obviously okay. But yeah, no, he wasn't. So I never went back there again. So I thought, I better find a good school.
I better. And man, did any of those guys ever end up getting trained?
No, none of them. I'm still friends with a couple of them, and they come and see the progress shows and stuff, and they really enjoy them. And
so, who was training at Hammerlock?
it was a guy called John Ryan and Andre Baker. Andre was the guy who set up Hammerlock in about 1993, I think it was. I think he was around in the world of sports sort of days, and he started a school for himself.
I heard some weird stories. Now he's passed.
Yeah, he died 6 years ago in May. It was.
I don't want to talk ill of the dead.
No, I heard so many bad things about Andre. And there's half the people who ever met him will talk the most amount of shit about him. He's the worst person you ever met. You ask me, Zach, Fergal, John, all these guys, he was nothing but good to us. Mm-hmm. Paul Tracy as well, another guy, like, never done nothing bad to me. I've got nothing. He gave me my first start in wrestling. Somehow, for some reason, took a liking to me, I guess, and just.
Were there a lot of guys around that school?
Yeah, there's probably about.
Is it one of those like 10-pound a week type things, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Although when I first started, Hammerlock we had kind of like a facility that was open most days a week, but we'd have set class on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays.
Was there a ring in there?
Yeah, set up ring, matted area, crash match.
I feel like they did a training seminar at Hammerlock, and it was just the mats. There was no ring. It was like in a leisure center. Possibly,
yeah. They done that. I think when I first started, we still had like the proper gym in Sittingbourne.
And there's little kids there.
Maybe.
There's like 10-year-olds.
No, I don't think that would have been.
Maybe it wasn't Hammerlock.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Maybe. What year?
I want to say 2006, maybe?
Maybe.
And like that was the first time where I was really like, this is wrestling's starting to get real big. And B, like, moms are just sending their kids, like to get out of the house. Like, pro wrestling I was like, wow, the inner closed circle of pro wrestling is out the window, now, especially in England. And they're just like, it's like, you want to play football, volleyball, basketball, or pro wrestling? That's what I felt. I'm teaching these kids these secrets of the trade. I felt kind of weird about it. Maybe it wasn't Hammerlock.
No,
I feel it was Hammerlock.
There was a period, I think, after the first year or so that I was there, we moved to a couple of different facilities because we lost the gym that we had in a place called Sittingbourne got shut down. So we lost the ring, we lost the matted area and everything like that. But we moved to a couple of places, but there was never really anyone that young there. I don't know. Maybe there wasn't that day that.
Yeah, I don't
you're such a draw that all the mums wanted their kids to.
There. I felt bad like taking the money because I knew these little 11-year-olds didn't know who I was, But I guess I was the guest trainer for the day. So you're known for like your hardcore stuff a lot.
Yeah.
And I can see right now you're pretty scarred up.
Thanks.
Yeah. Do you? And like you're a weird dude, right? Are you a weird dude? Well, I mean the gimmick, Jimmy Havoc. Is there a difference between in and out of the ring?
Not particularly.
Not particularly.
Well, it's me. I mean, obviously, I don't try and murder people outside the ring that often.
Are you a sadistic dude?
I can be. I like horror movies. I like, blood. I like gore. I like me in the bedroom. Before I ask my girlfriend, we get a bit rough. It's fun. I like it. It's good. It's fun.
Gotten you in any trouble?
Not particularly.
All right.
I've never been arrested.
That's good to know. Yeah. See, I feel you're just a nice. It's weird. It's a weird line because you are a nice guy.
I've always loved the hardcore stuff.
Oh, and you're a
teacher.
I didn't want to say you're a teacher. That's got to be a fun.
I qualified last year. Yeah, I do like substitute teaching at the moment because that's on the weeks where I don't have a show or whatever. I can just pick up a couple of days' work, so that works really well.
It's so funny how you look at it like that. I look at it the same way. It's just like, well, it maybe pays the same as a
booking.
As a booking, right?
So I think, I've got a couple of days free. I'll take a booking at school.
And you can't show that side. I don't know, or can you? I guess there's probably some weird teachers. Although I don't want to say you're weird, but like you're Jimmy Havoc.
I don't think I'm weird, but then I talk to my old school friends and stuff, and they think I'm incredibly weird. And I've always been like that. Apparently, I don't want to say I quite like hurting myself, but I quite like that sensation. I love seeing my own blood. I love that sensation of when I get thrown on light tubes or something, and you feel a bit of a cut, and it is an adrenaline rush.
Fuck.
Like the first time I got set on fire was the most terrifying thing I've ever been through. But when you're okay after that, and you've had that massive adrenaline rush, I guess it's the same like skydiving. When while you're falling, you think, I might die. If this parachute doesn't open, I might die. And the parachute opens, you're like, oh, thank fuck for that, I'm okay. So those seconds before where you see the thing on fire and you're about to get thrown through it is like, this could go horribly fucking wrong. And then when you get put out, it's fine, you're okay.
So take me through getting set on fire.
We've done the first couple of times I did it. We used to do.
You've done it more than once.
A few times,
handful of times.
Did you wrestle at Tap and Tin?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that place.
Yeah, we're still doing shows there every now and again. Yeah, it's quite cool.
That was where I first met Marty, and he was like 16 years old. I think. Marty Scroll, yeah.
Yeah, so we used to do shows at this pub called the Tap and Tin, which is like an over 18s like alternative rock sort of venue.
I was going to say if anyone would like that stuff. Because I don't even know if they're wrestling fans, right? They were just
drunk students, pretty much.
Kids.
Yeah, drunk students that because there was a university just up the road, and we used to do it on a weeknight. So it'd be like they'd come down and get pissed and just watch people beat each other up. And because we sort of knew the owners, we could get away with a lot more there.
Right.
There was no health and safety things. There was no risk assessment form, so didn't have to worry about that. But yeah, we there's a couple of times you use an ironing board in matches. Because it doesn't hurt. It's quite a cool visual, getting thrown through it and stuff. And then one day I was like, what if we set it on fire?
Set the ironing board on fire. Okay.
Set it on fire and threw me through it, and it was okay. I didn't die.
I don't want to give away the tricks of the trade, but isn't there the right kind of gasoline to put on that or something? Is that a thing, or you're just like, I'll light it on fire? Did you squirt it with gasoline?
Lighter fluid.
With lighter fluid.
So watching it, obviously there's no way to practice it. It's just sort of hope for the best. And not thinking about it. If you do it on a table, when you pour the lighter fluid on it, all that's going to set on fire is the lighter fluid. So the lighter fluid will go up. Then as soon as the lighter fluid's run out, the wood's not going to set on fire.
Yeah.
The problem was if you put it on an ironing board with the fabric.
I was going to say with the cloth fabric.
That sets on fire. So when I landed, it felt really hot underneath me. It's only when I rolled off and it was still on fire.
Oh my God.
But luckily I had nothing.
Did the place go up on fire?
No, it's fine. We had fire extinguishers and stuff.
It's funny you say that. I was just at a show at AAW, and I think it was Tommaso and Sammy Callahan.
Oh yeah.
And they were it was at this really it's called Bourbon Street, and it's just I've been there not my child, in my 20s. It's a place you go to get fucked up and drunk. It's way bigger than the Tap and Tin. It's a really big place. And
I saw photos of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Then they've had concerts there over the years, and they got up on the bar, and I think one of them slammed the other one on the bar.
Yeah.
And it's so weird in my older age of wrestling. I'm just let's not make the owners mad. Let's not break the thing. Yeah, all I'm worried is about the responsibility.
Well, I was thinking we did a show at the Tap and Tin. It was just before Christmas. And the main event was me, Zack Sabre Jr. and John Ryan. And John trained me and Zack. So we had a little hardcore tournament you used to do there every year. So the main event, the three of us, it just kind of we all get to wrestle once more before, maybe Zack never back again or whatever. And they were doing risk assessments this time. And in my head, I thought, I'll make myself look cool. I said, we should do the flaming iron board thing.
What do you mean risk assessment?
So I don't know if you have it in America. So if you put events on over here, you have to do a risk assessment.
If you put a what?
Events on over here, you need what's called a risk assessment. So that is like you'll fill out all the different things that could possibly go wrong during the show, what sort of percentage of risk there is that it might go wrong, what's the worst that could happen, sort of thing, just so that everything's written down beforehand, so that you can either talk to the venue manager or something, and they can say yes or no to something that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So in my head, I thought, okay, well, if I say to the guys, we'll do the flaming ironing board, I'll look cool, and then the venue will just say no to it. So that'll be fine. So I'll look all right. Venue says no, I still look like hardcore, it's fine. So he gave the risk assessment, and they said, yeah, that's all fine, and walked off. And I went, sorry, what? Oh, so I'm going to have to do it now. Yeah. Luckily, it was fine. It was okay. Nothing hurt. But it was still that moment of them saying yes, and I thought, oh, fuck myself here.
It's why are you saying yes?
So you meant to say no.
Yeah. You own a business. You're going to let this man. I feel, God, yeah. And even places that like allow blood, like when you're bleeding all over somewhere, I like, it's just weird. Now I'm like, why would you allow this in your building?
I think, yeah, wrestling seems to get under the radar a lot with a lot of things. Like my girlfriend, she's a fire performer. So the risk assessment she has to fill out before she does like fire breathing and stuff, it's so much bigger than most risk assessments that I've ever seen for a wrestling show. And the chance of that going wrong with her are pretty slim. But then the risk of it actually going wrong then, goes up quite high to hurting the crowd, and instead of us where we're just going to hurt ourselves.
Do you find that like this nice like boom you've been having, is it as a hardcore wrestler, or is it
No, it was I think I got myself into a bit of a sort of niche, fortunately or unfortunately, where I was the hardcore guy. Oh no, he can't wrestle, just put him in. And I didn't mind. I loved doing it. I still love doing hardcore. I find it easier to do a hardcore match than I do a normal wrestling match. I feel like I get less hurt during a hardcore match than you do in a normal match.
That's interesting.
If I'm wrestling Zach, if I'm taking dragon suplexes and tiger suplexes and all the kicks, that's bumps on my head, on my neck, take kicks to the chest constantly. You give me a hardcore match, I'd take a nice flat bump through a table. I'm
just going one fireball.
But then I lay there for 5 minutes, have a nice little rest, and it's fine.
Yeah.
But it's all flat bumps, and it's not. So yeah, but so I got myself into this bit of a niche where I was just the hardcore guy. Then Progress turned me heel, and that's when everything skyrocketed, because everyone seemed to like get me a bit more, and I had more of a character then. I had more about myself that you can get vested in, and the storyline we did with Progress just went so well that everyone got so invested in.
Yeah,
that's where everything sort of skyrocketed.
Talk about
for me.
the story that because
so we did like a 3-year long story with them that we planned basically from the very start, where we bring me in as a babyface. We were doing this whole book Havoc campaign thing where they said that a few people had asked to have me, but they have said no because I'm a deathmatch guy and they don't do that sort of thing. Now, this is all part of the story, but other promoters actually emailed Progress after that going, oh no, he can wrestle. Like,
he's good.
Yeah, he's all right.
Give him a shot.
Yeah. Then we sent this whole like audition tape done online, and that's when it first started sort of going up for me, and that people thought, oh, he has got a bit of a character, that's all right. So he started booking me. I went on this like year-long losing streak where I lost every single match, to the point where the whole point was they were trying to prove that I wasn't a deathmatch guy. Until the last match I had for them, they put me in a deathmatch, and I basically lost my shit about it. I beat the shit out of Jim Smallman. I had this contract that gave me a match anytime I wanted. Mark Andrews had just won the title that night, so I came in and beat the shit out of him and took the title off him, and then kept it for another like almost 2 years. And it was that whole
Jim Smallman's one of the owners.
One of the owners of Progress, yeah. And that whole 2 years of me keeping that title and no one being able to get it off me, it felt like classic wrestling, just a bad guy that everyone wants to see lose, and they're paying their money to come back every time. And I would just win in a shitty way each time, and it get people more and more annoyed. Until that point, I finally lost it, and literally blew the roof off. Everyone cheered so loud that at one point, one of the ceiling tiles, the ball fell down.
Fun.
I was quite pleased about that.
Did you, like, as you were in it, was there like not like a learning experience of just like almost like aha moment of the idea of like characters and the idea that you'd been doing so much and you've been wrestling so long and you've been doing a lot of crazy shit, and where you see that like, fuck, like I guess some of these guys, I guess like in a weird way, in the worst way, but like maybe Vince Russo was right of like, you know, like it is about these storylines and it is about this story.
I had more reaction for that story than I ever did Set Myself on Fire.
Were you kind of like, I guess you can't go back in time, but were you like hitting yourself?
Oh, no, I don't regret anything I've done because for 12 years, this knee injury is the first time I've ever been hurt that I've had to pull out of a few bookings sort of thing. I've had a couple of injuries in the past. I might have had to pull out of one.
I don't mean the hardcore wrestling. I mean the idea of like, oh, fuck, if I had just kind of been doing this kind of storyline like 6 years ago or 8 years ago.
But then I think that the other issue is as well is the promoters. If you're working for someone sporadically, then they're not going to invest in you to do a storyline. Most promoters over here at the time were maybe running once every couple of months, maybe 4 times a year or something. So with that sort of thing, it's difficult to get a storyline going.
It's about that home promotion. Huh?
Yeah. So with Progress, because they knew they were going to run in this amount of shows sort of thing, and to be fair, we've run in more shows than they ever imagined they would. Mm-hmm. And because, I'd not tied myself down, but I'd said, look, I'm free for every single one of your shows you want to do. Don't worry about it. That we could invest that time in me and we could invest that time in that long storyline. I think because of them seeing us do that, a load of other promotions now are starting to do maybe not 3 year long, but longer storylines to get people invested in it and to realise that is what people want to see.
Yeah. And as this is going, like, it's kind of cool. You see, like, hey, TNA reaches out a little bit and Australia reaches out a bit. Yeah. Like, do you start looking... What do you start looking for yourself in the future, or do you start looking at it, or do you start trying to map stuff out and seeing where a direction goes?
What I say to promoters now is, look, if you're going to bring me in for a show, I don't want to come in for just one. If you want to bring me in for just one, awesome, thanks, but why not bring me in for 4 or 5, and we'll do a 4 or 5 show storyline, especially if I'm going to be the heel. Let's culminate it in me getting the crap kicked out of me in that last match. Mm-hmm. Babyface goes over, big pop. Then I'm gone for a while.
You've got to figure it out. I mean, I'm just, hey, bring me in for one. Yeah, you've hit the market on a 4 or 5 booking rotation.
So yeah, I'm not thinking ahead.
Yeah, it's business wise. Do you see? I guess I don't want to jinx anything, but you saw a lot of those guys go to Big Japan and do that kind of stuff. Is Japan like one of those places that you? I'd imagine you had to be watching those matches as you were getting into all that stuff, right?
Well, I love Big Japan, definitely. With WXW in Germany, I've had the chance to wrestle like Jun Kasai, Ito, Hoshino, Miyamoto, all this. So I've managed to wrestle them all. It was brilliant. And I think we had good matches. And they seem to like me, but I've not had a phone call yet. So
but I mean, I guess I don't want to say, I guess you want to go everywhere. And it's kind of weird to say, but I don't know. I'd imagine your trajectory is... just to raise the profile here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if they offered, I'd definitely go, hands down.
Yeah. And then what's some of the crazier stuff that you've done, I guess, is the
most painful thing I've ever done, that the first time I did it, I said to myself, oh, that was ridiculous. I don't know why I did that. Let's never do it again. I maybe done it like 3 or 4 times since then. But I thought it was a really good idea because you have Pancake Day in America, didn't you?
Do I have what?
Pancake Day.
Pancake Day.
The Shrove Tuesday, is it called? Or... We have a day over here called Pancake Day, right? Where
maybe we do, and I don't know. I don't think we do. We might, but it's not that big of a deal. Is it a big thing?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's the day before the start of Lent. I think where you have to get rid of all your eggs and all your flour and stuff because you can't have any of that during Lent. I think so.
Talking to a Jew over here. I don't know. No wonder why I don't know about Pancake Day.
So anyway,
I know about Matzah Day.
So the gimmick with us lot is not that
with us.
Not that I'm a Christian, but I just like pancakes. So I think the gimmick was you have to get rid of all of that sort of stuff, and the best way to do it is make pancakes. So I think it's in February. I think maybe a Tuesday in February where you just make pancakes and you have pancakes during the day. So we had a show at the Tap and Tin that night, and I thought, well, let's do like a pancake gimmick match. We use like frying pans and lemons and stuff. So we did this bit where I got thrown on light tubes and my back was all cut open, and he squeezed a lemon in my back.
He did?
Danny Garnell, his name was.
I know Danny.
Yes.
I bet you could have the fans do that too, right?
Yeah, I've had that. Yeah, done before. Yeah,
that's a fun fun hardcore interaction.
I do quite a lot where I'll get the guy to hold me and like get the fans to staple things to me on the way around. They seem to enjoy that. So
and do you enjoy
it? Staples don't hurt too much. Yeah. They hurt more coming out than going in, definitely.
And so, did you guys make pancakes after the match?
No, we didn't. No, I went home and cried for a while. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
But then I thought, well, why didn't I just fake it? We could have got one of those bottles of lemon juice and just put water in it. What I've been thinking a lot more recently is like, because of the way CZW done everything so legit all the time with all like the weed whackers and that sort of stuff, that fans are sort of conditioned out that if they see a hardcore match, they think it's real.
Right.
So we can fake it now. And they'll think it's real. Whereas before, everyone's like, oh, wrestling's fake, it's all crap. Now they're thinking, oh, it is real, and we can fake it and get away with it.
I don't even know. I think WWE has those like little like rubber barbed wire
and stuff, yeah.
Ian Rotten would roll over in his grave that he's not dead in if he like, you know, like, I feel it's funny you say that because there's a pride to the hardcore wrestler guys. And Ian especially, you know, when I started wrestling, you know, we'd go to IW Mid-South and it was kind of like a split locker room. It was a joint locker room, but it was the wrestlers. And then it was Mean Mitch Page, the Necro Butcher, Ian Rotten, Corporal Robinson, Too Tough Tony. And these guys were very serious about their, I think they would, it was a matter of pride almost. The crazier.
Wrong, like, at the time, I was more than happy to do it because in my head I was like, well, it needs to be real.
I've got to be nuts, right? Did you try to like match up to those guys or?
I think I was quite lucky over here, and because there was none of that stuff over here, I could do the odd couple of spots in a match,
right?
That would have been a bit crazy, but compared to that stuff, it's
because on shows that I was on, there was 7 of those matches, and so those guys had to top each other. Who else was doing it over here? I remember like Iceman maybe was doing some stuff.
Doing it. Yeah, I had his last match over in Germany. We done his retirement match over there. That was quite fun. We done a 200 light tube match over there. That was fun. But yeah, it was me, Iceman. John Ryan does it a bit as well. Now there's like Jack Jester, Clint Margera, ICW, and Fight
some
Club.
Of those, I guess some of the Scottish guys. But I guess it never took off. Like, I mean, it was crazy in America. It really took off.
I think over it works because it's a gimmick. Because it's every so often you see it, people are going to react more for it.
It's weaned away now.
Yeah.
But there was a period of time where,
every show had like so many, like CZW as well. Now it's not very often. Like they do the tournament death stuff, but it's not every other match is a
But
death match
there was
days.
never a promotion that was like full fledged like that over here.
Oh, not over here, no. There's a couple of sort of like ICW is more sort of ECW now, but they'd have maybe a couple of hardcore matches.
Did anybody try to get that going?
We had the odd couple of shows over here. There was Gore Fest they did over here once. That was a few years ago. That was sort of like
And that was when Rhino first started his campaign.
Yeah, that's
he was testing it out.
Yeah, that was sort of. I think that was Ian Rotten came over and done that with WXW. They'd done like sort of joint show in England. But that's when the only sort of
and Mickey Knuckles maybe came over.
Yeah,
for
I think
that
she was
too.
over as well. Yeah,
I think I remember that. Yeah, but it never took off. That's
I think
wild.
someone pulled out and they got Zack Sabre Jr. in to do one of the death matches.
Did he do a death match?
He done like bumps on pins. He'll do a death match with me.
Really?
Yeah.
Bumps
We've
on
had a
Pins
couple,
is pretty
yeah.
nuts. I remember I was part of the Hardcore Cup 2002.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, it's kind of funny because we were wrestling in Minnesota and Nick Mondo was wrestling in Minnesota, but he would fly to CZW.
Oh, cool.
But he lived in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And I remember being like at the after party and he was the kind of guy, he'd like show us his crazy matches in CZW. He had his camcorder with it. And I kind of got inspired. Like it was like him, Trent Acid, Johnny Cashmere. They're doing this crazy stuff. So like a little bit, I was like, man, this is cool shit. People love this. But I never wanted to like mutilate my body. But I did like a ladders and chairs and ladder.
Yeah.
Maybe just a chairs match. And I did this match with Dino Bambino where like, I don't know if he had a different name. No. God, you don't know. Do you know that name?
Name rings a bell.
Yeah, he was like, he could have been like a really big star. I think he retired in like 2003, but he was part of like, he was like one of those original like Paul London type flyer guys.
The name really does ring a bell.
Yeah, and so we did a hardcore match at the Hardcore Cup, and I obviously lost. I didn't want to go on anymore, but that was my only. But I never had the. Yeah, I felt like bumping on the weird stuff would hurt too much. I was never into it.
It's not like the thumbtacks, drawing pins. Like the only thing I can probably equate that to is when I'm a kid and you go bush diving and you jump in like bushes and stuff. It's a bit scratchy. It's not that bad.
But my first VHS was the King of the Death matches.
Oh, wow.
Which I think a lot of people's maybe.
Japan, the Foley one.
The Foley one, yeah. And I was like in awe and loved it. I loved watching it. But it's kind of I
still have that on DVD. I got a VHS transfer to DVD.
Oh, nice.
So I've got that,
yeah. But it was never that. I was maybe just more of a voyeur. So I was like watching it. Like when we would go down IW Mid-South, like I loved watching those guys. I loved it. But I was like, oh no.
When I first started, I wanted to go through a table. That was my biggest thing. So then, I think it might be my third match was a hardcore match. I went through a table and I was like, oh, that didn't hurt. I want to be hit with a chair. Oh, that didn't hurt too much. I want to go on thumbtacks. Oh, that wasn't too bad. It just sort of escalated to the point where I'm not dead from any of it. So I'll probably keep going on.
Did you have the older generation being like, third match, want to go through a table?
It was
There's got to be those guys.
Hammerlock was really sort of closed off at the time. So we didn't work for anyone else. No one outside worked for us, really, unless you got like the odd Jake the Snake might came in, I think. Who else came in? Jim the Anvil Neidhart came in. Like a couple of people on the odd tour every now and again. But because it was just us, we never really had that too bad. And like Andre quite liked some hardcore matches and stuff. And these shows were the Tap and Tin ones. So my first ever match was at the Tap and Tin. So where it's that rowdy student crowd, I'm goth, metaler, they love that.
So no one was there to kind of calm you down?
No, not really,
bit.
no.
Do you wish there was? Or?
No.
No.
I enjoyed it. It's good memories, they are. Good memories.
That's great. It's worked out for you.
Yeah, definitely.
It's all come around. Where are you at on the internet, man?
At Jimmy Havoc on Twitter, Jimmy Havoc on Facebook, or Jimmy_Havoc on Instagram, I think.
Okay. And I don't know, anything we're missing on this guy?
Not really at the moment, I think. Just follow me on Twitter, ask me questions.
You're active? Well,
I'm very active.
You're doing nothing right now.
I'm doing nothing at the moment, no, just sitting here and watching porn mainly.
Oh my God. Is your porn the same stuff? Do you like blood in porn?
Not particularly, no. No, if you see blood, that means something's gone wrong.
That's a thing. I've heard a story. I'm not going to share it on here.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Actually, as these turn off, I'll tell you a weird story of a person I know that has to do with blood and sex. Yeah, I just imagine, like, I've knock on all of this wood, that I've never been out for a long period of time, man. I know.
I think to be honest, like, while I was gutted about it at the time it happened, it's almost a blessing, because it got to the point where I think my character, especially in Progress, it got to the point where I've done those 3 years. I need to do something to freshen it up a bit.
You can refresh it.
And the same as everywhere else. I felt like I was getting not stale, maybe, but maybe take a bit of time out so people miss me. And plus my neck was hurting, my shoulder's hurting. So it's a good 6 months now. I can just rest myself up, give myself a bit of a service. And
that's a hard thing on the independents. Like when we're not, these WWE guys, John Cena can go do a movie for 4 months
absolutely,
and still make a mill.
Yeah.
But we have to, Jimmy Jacobs was always a good guy about that, of like being on the independents for 15 years and finding ways to freshen himself up. And it's important. It's hard.
I bumped into Jimmy Jacobs in New York last year, and he said to me, "I'm sure I recognise you from somewhere." I said, "Yeah, we did a show," because he'd done the Tap and Tin once as well a few years ago. I did a match.
The whole podcast is Tap and Tin rules, right?
You check the venue out; it's a good venue.
Yeah.
But I did one of those matches where we had the thumbtacks on my kick pads, so I'm putting them on one by one. And Jimmy comes over and he starts helping me out, putting them on, having a bit of a chat, and he goes, "Have you got any painkillers on you?" I said, "No, man, sorry, I haven't." He just throws the drawing pins down and goes, "I thought you deathmatch guys were fucking painkillers." Just walks off.
You guys are all... Can't trust any of you. What good are you? Well, I appreciate you coming on, man.
No, thanks for having me, Colt.
This is great. This is a great talk.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
All right, Jimmy, he'll be back soon enough. He's still out there. You can still see him on shows. You can still support him. Hit him up. Let him know you love him. Let him know you miss him. And he'll be back before you even know it. Thanks for being on the show, bud. Before we get out of here, let's get into some plugs and
upcoming events.
All right, the best way that you can support ColtMerch.com, DigitalColt.com, Twitter and Instagram at Colt Cabana, Facebook /AOW Podcast, also /Colt Cabana, ColtWrestling@gmail.com, my very public email. Maybe you got something to say to me. Maybe you're a promoter, want to put me in your upcoming show or convention. WorstPromoEver.com is on and rolling. Also, my YouTube channel where I put up a very fun video that I filmed at the E3. ColtCabana.com is my website. I got a P.O. box there. You can send me something via my snail mail, which I love opening up. Upcoming Friday and Saturday, June 17th and 18th, Des Moines, Iowa, and Minneapolis, Minnesota. First Wrestling, Friday and Saturday, June 24th and 25th, Limerick and Dublin, Ireland, Over the Top Wrestling. Sunday, June 26th, Belfast, Ireland, ProWrestlingUlster.co.uk. Friday, July 1st, Marion, Illinois, GlobalForceWrestling.com. Sunday, July 3rd, Denver, Colorado, Lucha Libre and Laughs.com. Wednesday, July 6th in Chicago, I'll be hosting the Podcast Awards. podcastmovement.com. Friday, July 8th, Baltimore, Maryland, ROHWrestling.com. Saturday, July 9th, Summit, Illinois, ResistancePro.com. Saturday, July 16th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, ROHWrestling.com. Sunday, July 17th, Toronto, Canada, DestinyWorldWrestling.com. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, July 29th through the 31st, London, England, London Film and Comic-Con.com. Also doing a live podcast there. August 1st and 2nd, Birmingham and Manchester. We're doing comedy shows. And all of August, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, pleasance.co.uk to grab your tickets to see Brendan Burns and I do comedy over bad wrestling. That is the show for this week. Big thank you to you guys at home for listening. You know I always appreciate it. Thanks to Jimmy Havoc for coming on the show. Thanks to Cable Guy Jeff and Stu Stone, Kid Russell and Matt Jenkins on the music. Thanks to Dane Miller with some tech. How about those sponsors? HighSpots.com. Hundreds of full-length titles available to download, plus $5 wrestling titles. We did a We Got Mail for their subscription box, and they got a VOD service where they got a shitload of PWGs on there. Also, you get a wrestling ring, AMA knee pads, and gear, boots. You can get it all from those guys. OneHourTees.com. They help run ProWrestlingTees.com. That's where you can support your favorite independent wrestler directly by buying a t-shirt from them. They appreciate it. I appreciate it. 1 Hour Tees appreciates it. You with a sweet shirt. Hopefully you appreciate it. Tweakedaudio.com/Colt. The earbuds that I use get over 30% off of free shipping just because you listen to this show. And that is the show. That's the show for this week. I had one day off here in Chicago. I made this podcast. Now I'm back on the road doing first wrestling shows. Scott Hall's on those shows, so that's going to be cool. Iowa and Minneapolis. Last week from Baltimore to Jersey, I did a car ride with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. I felt like a real member of the NWO. I was in it. I was a member for a little bit. I was the equivalent of Horace Hogan in the NWO, but still, he was in it. Can't say that he wasn't. So it was pretty cool for about 3.5 hours. All right, this has been The Art of Wrestling for Colt Cabana. I'm Colt Cabana. Thanks.